It's great to see everybody at our State of the School Address 2016. This year we're doing a little bit different format. I'm not going to be alone here. I have 6 others with me. It's not a debate, though. One of the reasons why we decided to change the format this year was when I met with part of the leadership team to talk about what we would cover the State of the School Address. I just realized how much cool stuff is going on in so many places in the school, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to hear it from the people who really orchestrate all the great things that happen. And then I realized that that would be a lot of speakers, and a lot of speakers are difficult to do in an hour. And then one of the leadership team, who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time, suggested that we tried this new format called Pecha Kucha, which I had never heard of, but sure enough, we looked it up, and it's quite a popular format or presentation format, originated by an architecture firm who decided that anybody who has a PowerPoint presentation speaks way too long on every slide. And hence, if you have multiple speakers, it would be really difficult to get everything accomplished in an hour. So the key with Pecha Kucha is it's supposed to be a format of 20 slides, 20 seconds per slide. We've modified that a little bit. Each of us are going to have 15 slides and 20 seconds per slide. So this is an automatic advance. Okay, which could lead to some humorous moments, but may also you may also see leads to a really whirlwind presentation. So it's going to be fast moving, and you're going to hear a lot of stuff in a short time. If it's too fast for you, we've got it on tape. You can take it home and play it back in slow motion. Okay. Now, I know after each of our presentations, you're going to want to have a resounding round of applause, but that will really mess up our 20-second advancing. So I would ask you to hold your applause to the end, and also hold your questions, because we will definitely have time for Q&A afterwards. So hold on to your seats. I am going to, the other 6 speakers are going to focus on their administrative units. I'm going to give just a brief touching on the academic units. And the thought is that if this goes over well, then next year we'll flip-flop and focus on the academic units with just a small amount on the administrative units. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to give a little bit about the academic units, and then we'll pass it on. So, with a deep breath, I'll start with our Department of Biological and Materials Sciences, led by Robert Bradley, a powerhouse in research with over $18 million in research funding, 24 R01s, noted high-impact publications, where they're often recognized as cover images, as you see here, or recognized by professional societies. Leadership as well, Dave Cohn, President of the Society of Biomaterials. The Division of Prosthodontics, with dedicated efforts in incorporating digital dentistry into our DDS curriculum by Farhat George and Berna Saglick, focusing on implants and RPD design, and our Grad Pros area, who has completed a digital design studio for implants all the way through full arch restorations. Caryology research in caries risk assessment, also educational focused with evidence-based guidelines. Projects in computerized dentistry that are long-standing, and regenerative endodontics, a 30% increase in grad endo applicants, and a new graduate program in restorative dentistry led by Gisele Nieva, focusing again on digital dentistry, aesthetics. It's a 3-year master's program, and the residents will be prepared for their operative dentistry board exams. Now, our oral and maxillofacial surgery department, led by Brent Ward, is celebrating 100 years of its residency program, our oldest residency program. They also have noted expertise in scholarly activity underpinning the clinical work they do, and a new program called Doje, which is where patients can express their gratitude to their caregivers. OMFS is focusing on efficiency in the hospital and especially here in the school, where we're going to have a new clinic director who'll be full-time starting in December, and assembled teams that will be focusing on increased efficiencies and being able to handle the capacity here for a broader community in the school. OPD, led by Nan Hatch, strength in all areas and all domains, in particular education at the graduate and pre-doctoral level, faculty and staff that have incorporated traditional and new technologies, strong research in 3D imaging and development, and noted service. This is an area that links strongly with our hospital through our craniofacial program, where we have a craniofacial fellow. They're incorporating digital technologies into their education and clinics, strong commitment to service, high rates of board passing from the residents in both of these programs, and strong research awards. PALM, led by Will Ginobili, strong research that goes all the way from the basic, translational, to clinical. Our division of dental hygiene, we're beyond our bachelor's degree, also noted for e-learning programs at the bachelor's and master's level. 2 divisions, perio, oral path medicine, and radiology, which houses the diagnostic sciences group, showing a strong biopsy service going from histopath, radiology, immunofluorescence, all the way up to management of patients. And a symposium, inaugural symposium, which will be next June, in personalized cancer therapy. Be there. All of these departments interact strongly, more numerous ways than I can mention, but I'd just like to highlight a couple things. A project, for instance, by Peter Ma and Nan Hatch in drug delivery for orthodontic tooth movement, and a long-term course that involves 5 of our residency programs in treating compromised patients. I would be remiss to not mention our capital campaign, where we're 70% towards our goal of $35 million, led by Rich Fetchett and his team. Strong focus on student scholarship. In particular, I'd like to highlight this one honoring Don and Ron Heiss, which has been a huge success and garnered a lot of support. It's been a banner year. Our accreditation, our support from the state, our world ranking, and our university support and accomplishments in our diversity, equity, and inclusion. And you all made it happen, and I would just like to really thank you for that. Finally, standing in front of you as 3 years as dean, I feel incredibly fortunate to be joined alongside a strong leadership team dedicated to your individual accomplishments, our collective success, and our common goal of advancing health through education, service, research, and discovery. And with that, I will pass it on to Steve Stefanik.
Wasn't supposed to do that. Okay. Yeah, we've built some excitement into this, some unpredictability. Anyway, greetings everyone. I'm proud to talk about the faculty and staff who support patient care, human resources, and compliance activities for the School of Dentistry. I want to highlight what we do, what we're proud of, and where we're heading. And are we ready? Okay, here we go. Patient Services works to serve students, faculty, staff, and of course patients. This only happens with the leadership and dedication of these folks. As a group, we meet bi-weekly and also yearly to celebrate our successes and create new goals. We are thankful for the help we get from others in the school. Go Blue Dental. Risk management and quality assurance activities protect the school and our patients. Did you know that we regularly review 10% of our patient records? We are excited about having a new electronic record system that will support our patient care mission throughout the school. Dental stores make sure that dental stores make sure that pre-clinics run, lab cases ship, and mail is sorted, and clinic coats are clean. They receive over 150 packages a day and fulfilled over 10,000 repair requests last year. Dental stores will help us choose the best dental supplies and equipment during our renovation. Dispensary staff supply students with what they need and track over $2 million in instruments, supplies, and equipment. Central sterilization staff work behind the scenes to process over 250,000 packages of instruments each year. Do you know that at any one time, a quarter of our pre-doctoral instruments are out for sharpening and refurbishing? 3 years ago, we piloted having 2 dental assistants in a VIX clinic. The program has grown to 9 assistants, and it's hard to imagine how we manage without them. Assistants help students with impressions, periodontal charting, and using the intraoral cameras. I appreciate they were the first group to use the faculty request system. PAYS is the entry point for over 8,000 new and emergency patients a year. It's a team effort between Dr. Dorr, her staff, radiology, and our dental and dental hygiene students. By the way, the last D4 class voted to give Dr. Dorr the Gibbons Award in appreciation for all her work. Yay. Our appointment office makes initial patient appointments and answers over 400 calls a day. They also manage our emergency code system. Running the school requires money, and the information desk and business office get it for us. Last year, both took in over $5 million. The Human Resources Service Center processed over 1,700 transactions last year and assisted with the hiring of 190 faculty and staff. Tina Pryor and her staff are available to advise faculty, staff, and supervisors so they can better educate our students, treat patients, and perform research. Patient services staff reach out to the UM community. The Staff Forum Committee is responsible for the biennial staff retreat, ice cream social, and art fair tent. The committee is also developing new training programs for supervisors in the school. Join us by contacting Tina Pryor and myself. Patient-student monitoring is the critical link between students and faculty providing patient care. The patient care coordinators help ensure that patients complete their treatment plans and that students graduate. PCC staff make recall and restorative appointments for D2 patients, and they support the patient care coordinators. For over 30 years, CDC has been a safety net to provide dental needs for the low-income population of Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County. The new director, Dr. Diana Ellis, and her staff are expanding services to new underserved groups such as veterans, geriatric patients, and downtown restaurant workers. The School of Dentistry must comply with federal and state laws and university guidelines. Think patient privacy, infection control, basic life support, TB testing, and licensing, for example. A compliance committee is responsible for these activities and is excited about creating better and more effective training programs. Things have changed a lot in Central Records in the past 5 years. The group has embraced the digital world. They copied records for over 2,000 of our patients last year and uploaded 7,000 records from private practitioners. This will only increase with the new referral portal on our webpage for dentists in the community. Patient services, human resources, and compliance are excited to be part of the school's renovation project. Just think, new materials and equipment, no more unattended children in the reception areas, and additional rooftop parking. Thank you all.
Hello. A lot goes into being number one. Many of the others talk about the efforts of our faculty and students who earn this deserved reputation. I'll tell you a little bit about some of the team who supports these efforts and how their jobs contribute to the school's successes. In the Dean's office, Kim Huner, Stephanie Collins, and Catrice Yarrington provide support to deans and administrators. In the past year, they scheduled more than 2,400 meetings, staffed more than 160 meetings, which included search committees whose efforts resulted in the hiring of 8 new faculty members. In faculty affairs, Kristen Romine processed 115 faculty appointments. She worked to develop systems to support the career advancement of all our faculty, worked with the bylaws committee on a complex revision of the bylaws, and is shepherding 7 faculty promotions through the complex promotion process. Sometimes it's not enough to be number one. We need to tell people what we do. We need to communicate to our school community, to the campus, and to our alumni. We want to share our successes with the public, with the state, and with prospective students as they make the decision of which school to attend. A joint team from dental informatics and communications works on the school's website every day to keep it current and contemporary. This year, Sharon Graydon and Lynn Monson produced 20 headline stories, 72 spotlights. In addition, they produced 2 editions of Dentalum, 750 school-wide emails, and 118 digital signs. Celia Alcumbrook-McDaniel runs the school's social media presence. Last year, our Facebook reach was enough to fill Michigan Stadium more than 15 times. Our Flickr site had over 500,000 photo views, and our student blog had over 15,000 views. In another important area, Shannon Odell curates the Syndicus Museum of Dentistry. Our collection is arguably one of the most comprehensive on the history of dentistry in the country. The new exhibit for the university's bicentennial, Student Reflections, a retrospective of dental education, is told through the eyes of past students. Our building. Dorothy Smith-Vessel and Mike Folk worked diligently to keep it running. But yes, it is time for some changes. Our clinics, our labs, they could use some updating. The university is solidly behind us in this effort. After years of planning, the provost committed $90 million, pending a $30 million match from the state. The Facilities Planning Committee worked with an outside architect and architects from the university to put together a concept design. In June, the state approved $30 million from its capital outlay fund, and on September 15th, the university approved moving forward with the project. The Regents approved the selection of the architect firm of Smith Group JJR for the design phase of the project. Smith Group JJR brings significant experience in dental clinic and research lab design and have significant experience working at the university. The next phase is program validation, then schematic design. We will need input from you. This is the roll up your sleeves, get involved phase of the project. We will be asking faculty, students, and staff to serve on planning committees and subcommittees. This is the fun part. And speaking of the fun part, something we have been working on for many years. Yes, the first attempt was in 2006, but we are persistent. During our strategic planning effort, the #1 item cited by faculty and staff to improve the climate of the school for our community and for our patients was to have a coffee shop in the school. Well, it's happening. We are delighted to be working with M Dining on bringing a grab-and-go coffee shop to the school. The cafe and lounge will be located on the ground floor, replacing the vending and eating area near the atrium. We will have full-service coffee and fresh prepared foods. Construction on the cafe will start in early October, and we apologize now for any inconvenience during construction, but think the entire community will be patient in anticipation of the end result. We're planning to open in mid-February, while it's still cold out. Thank you. Now we have Lynn.
Last year was the first year the school started executing on its strategic plan. 5 domains completed 17 actions and involved over 200 members of the community. The domain highlights include the people domain increased the number of underrepresented minorities in the incoming class. The education domain completed a critical thinking audit of the curriculum across all disciplines. The research and discovery domain completed a school-wide mentoring plan. The patient care domain increased patient satisfaction ratings in the VIX. And the responsible growth and sustainability domain increased the understanding of the school budget and now posts financials online. Ooh, I'm ahead. Okay, going forward, there are 28 new actions. The highlights include the people domain will host a cultural sensitivity program for the school community on November 16th. The education domain is working on an integrated model for instruction and assessment to the biomedical and foundational sciences, as well as restructuring pathways. The research and discovery domain is exploring new and innovative ways of measuring our research success. The patient care domain will launch a new patient care website in the coming weeks and implement a plan for marketing our patient care services to the U of M community. And responsible growth and sustainability domain is acting on tactics for increasing revenue and controlling costs. Now I'm behind. Faculty affairs supported 7 promotions, did 15 searches going on right now, 8 new faculty started, and there were 23 faculty development sessions conducted by numerous people and attended by over 335 faculty. In the coming year, we're focusing on 2 things. One, working with the Appointment, Promotion, and Tenure Committee to revise the appointment and promotion policy for adjuncts, and launching a new service that organizes information about faculty and their careers, as well as support activities like promotion. Dental informatics, I better go fast. We don't just work alone, we collaborate with others across the school and the campus. Prime example is the dentistry garden. Hundreds of visitors a year, and the veggies are always picked. Bet you didn't know it came out of informatics. In the past 5 years, dental informatics has contained costs by decreasing the number of physical servers by 60% and increasing the number of virtual servers by over 6-fold. We've also increased the number of cloud services from 7 in 2011 to 31 now. And through improved processes, an individual staff member now handles 200 more tickets every month. This is our website. It's the face to the world. Last year, over 200 new pages were created, including a major rework of the research website. And after it went live, views increased by 25% in the first month. And in the last 30 days, over 30,000 users have viewed over 135,000 pages. Supporting education, Canvas is the home for student learning and assessment, including lecture recordings. Last year, 2,000 lectures were recorded, and students spent 36,000 hours viewing them. And in the last month, our YouTube channel had over 160,000 views, 2/3 outside the US. Okay, going forward, what you see is, this is the med school's student gateway. We want to do something like this, only do it better, because our students have found that they have over 7 accounts that they use to do their education. We support research in a number of different ways. We work with researchers to find secure and efficient solutions to meet their research needs. And currently we're working with the med school to bring a low-cost and effective electronic research notebook, not just to the med school and dental school, but to all of campus. Going forward, we want to do more and more to support clinical research. Corey is a clinical data repository. It has patient data from 6 schools and over 2 million patients that can be used to support research. And we're also working to increase the number of data standards we use, such as ICDAS for caries classification. MyDent is our patient information system. It includes the electronic health record, digital imaging, and more. And in the last 10 years, the number of MyDent workstations have grown from 350 to over 1,100 here and in the hospital. And in the past year, about 500 faculty, students, and staff were trained to use it. Going forward, the Internet of Dental Things Committee is working on recommendations for a process by which technologies can be selected for use by students during patient care. And yes, we're going to have a patient portal. We will integrate with MyChart, and drones will deliver instruments to the operatories.
That was a lot to pack into 5 minutes, Lynn. That was a lot. We're engaged in the strategic efforts of the school. We built a foundation where all constituencies have the chance to see relevant material that are comprehensive and reliable. Then we look to build on that foundation to collaboratively develop actions that financially strengthen and support the programs that carry out our mission. Tactically, we are executing financial plans at the school and departmental levels. We work diligently to invest as many resources as possible directly into the teaching learning process at the school. We're keenly aware that students come to our school to get the most they can out of their experiences directly with our faculty. As a team, the clinic billing office works with your clinic front-end staff to collect from patients. The CBO processed $10.3 million in payments last year, sent out about 75,000 patient statements and 29,000 insurance claims. Graduate and faculty clinic resources are 100% yours as they're realized, and we treat them like they're 100% ours. We're part of a mighty university enterprise, and we're part of responsibility center management for how we're assigned general fund resources. The finance team handles financial reporting with the central offices of the university. We work with newly developed tools to be as forward-thinking and proactive as possible. We collaborate with your departments to shape the faculty salary and incentive model. We listen to your suggestions to be as responsive to you as possible. We want the model to have enough complexity to address the uniqueness of the professional settings where you practice and conduct research. We're looking to stay focused on strategic efforts. What can we invest energy into that will propel us forward programmatically as well as financially? What ways can we move in communicating critical data as visually as possible? And how can we make that data interactive and translatable into action? As a school, we face some challenges in balancing our annual level of revenues versus expenses. At the same time, we're quite fortunate to have built up a large volume of resources for a time like this. We are encouraging dynamic and visionary use of these funds. Are we in a position to lead our industry? The resources are there. Finance and clinic billing offices have engaged in a number of endeavors to improve service to the school. We're working to reshape our internal budget processes, monitor CBO progress toward achieving some tough goals, and take a leading role in developing the financial aspects for new industry software. And meet George Jetson. We continue to invite you, the faculty, and respond to your input on how to improve the incentive model. We're fine-tuning a 5-year projection tool to help guide long-term decision-making. We've developed a forecasting tool to help anticipate year-end financial results, and monthly clinic reports now have highlights to serve as an executive summary. My Tools has annual updates for 3 different comprehensive views of our finances, including reports on clinic and research activity. We communicate annually on progress toward key elements of the overall financial plan, and we report monthly to the leadership team as to progress in addressing a large negative accumulated balance in the designated fund. The annual comprehensive presentation of the year's financial results now has a dashboard at the beginning to give you a quick sense for how we're doing in meeting goals. Red, yellow, and green indicators on each measure provide a quick visual sense for progress. The general goal is to show that there are revenues to meet our operating expenses and our capital needs. We set goals for the annual performance of clinics and for operations that have not been self-sustaining. We have specific plans for enrollment growth in certain programs. We have the resources to renovate and expand the building, and we have accumulated over $20 million of discretionary balances to be used strategically. So you could say that we have sophisticated finances here at the School of Dentistry. On the revenue side, we went 6 years increasing, I got one chuckle, increasing our overall revenues by only $1 million. That increase in total revenues is difficult to move higher with state-imposed tuition restraints and without the ability to increase the size of our student body. On the expense side, central administrative taxes rose by $4.6 million over that same 6-year period where revenues only grew by $1 million. The cost of our annual merit increases adds another $1 million annually to our expenses. Growth in annual revenue struggles to keep pace with the increase in our costs. So where are we heading? We plan to continue to look ahead, keep you involved and informed, keep learning from best practices, network with our peers, take reasonable risks, and ensure that the goals of the strategic plan have the fuel they need in terms of the resources that will help to propel us forward. Carol Ann?
Thank you. I'll just wait until it moves. Okay. Academic Affairs is responsible for support and oversight of all of the education programs in the school and the education domain of the strategic plan. We are committed to work with faculty, staff, and students to build community and provide a humanistic learning environment for all people. Our administrative department includes all of these offices and programs. Collaboration has enabled us to function more effectively by leveraging our shared resources for our common functions and goals. Okay. Student Services and Admissions conduct admissions processes for DDS and ITDP programs, and in addition, support the dental hygiene and graduate programs admissions as well. We provide financial aid, counseling and wellness programs, peer tutoring, and conduct events like white coat ceremony and commencement. This year, the combined efforts of admissions and diversity and inclusion has produced a highly qualified, diverse D1 class whose profile is summarized here. Throughout the year, we are proud to hold activities like Careers Day, campus visit interviews and MMI, recruitment visits around the country, and a DIA recruitment fair to produce positive results. The Office of Global Oral Health Initiatives increased the number of students engaged in global activities and the number of programs that provide meaningful global health experiences for our students, working alongside community partners to make a positive and sustainable impact. Next year, the office will be collaborating with the Office of Research to hold the University of Michigan Brazil Research Symposium here in March, and developing a student program in Mexico, working with a dental school there, developing a program in Guatemala, working with the U of M dental alumnus and local community health authorities, and in Ethiopia, working with the University of Michigan Medical School. Dr. Todd Esther and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion has expanded our Profiles for Success dental pipeline program, and with the MAC and SNDA held the annual King's Feast. This year we also hosted the Joint Health Schools MLK Day Symposium, a highlight the presentation of the painting of Dr. Ida Gray, which now hangs proudly in the President's residence. The coming year, working with MAC and the Implementation Committee, we will implement a strategic plan with cultural competency training starting on November 16th. This was a recommendation from our climate study. The number of weeks in outreach has increased this year to 9 weeks for our D4 students. Our CBDE outcomes keep improving. For example, this past year, over 20,000 patients received treatment by our students out in the field. Interprofessional care is being expanded into several FQHCs, and our template is being adopted by many dental schools throughout the country. The Pathways program is being revised based on feedback from you. These changes are designed to do more of what you value and less of what you don't. Flexibility, mentorship, creativity, and autonomy remain the guiding principles of the Pathways program. Educational support services includes course support, the standardized patient program, and curriculum assessment. We support faculty, course directors, and students. We create clinical rotation schedules. We provide faculty training to support their teaching. We will be helping dental informatics and supporting Canvas and implementation ExamSoft later this year. All of Academic Affairs provided support to all of you through the accreditation process, working with you to ensure a successful site visit. We also run a continuous outcomes assessment and improvement program, support educational research, and continued curriculum innovation. The competency assessment team, made of faculty and staff, has selected software for competency assessment in the clinics and is working with faculty to create standardized assessment rubrics to streamline the process and support the top goal in education. We are working with dental informatics to create a student dashboard to help students and faculty monitor their progress. We are also leading interprofessional education and interprofessional care across the health sciences. Dental faculty are leading curriculum design, the creation of the IPE window, and exploring ways to reduce barriers to collaboration, not only for interprofessional education, but for interprofessional care, research, and service. Russ.
And so now for something completely different. I'm Russ Teichman. I'm your Associate Dean for Research. I love science. I have dedicated my presentation to exploration, and so I call this presentation Tooth Trek, the Biologic Frontier. So our strategic plan in research is a 5-year plan to explore new worlds, seek out new life, to boldly go where no scholar has gone before. Why do we do this? It's in our DNA. We lead. This is important to us. It's part of our culture. It is something that we as a great university value, and we support this wholeheartedly. To do this, we need an exceptional team of individuals to lead this and guide this operation. And so I am very fortunate to work with a number of individuals who are able to do this. We have Beth Brandt, Jan Hugh, myself, Pat Schultz, and Robert Eber. To do this, we need fuel, and part of our fuel is research support. Vast majority of our support come from federal dollars, particularly the NIH. We have non-federal support from corporations, and we spend a lot of money on ourselves making sure that this all works. The research themes of our school are as follows: clinical and population and educational research. This is the largest percentage of faculty and students engaged in scientific endeavors. Tissue engineering, cancer biology, and craniofacial and skeletal diseases. Who is our customer? Well, our customer comes in great many forms and in a variety of different needs. As you can see here, we have basic science and clinical research investigators, all who are our customer. We also support trainees, postdocs, PhDs, undergraduates, even high school students are part of our program. The Office of Research is basically the engineering and communication hub. These people, headed by Pat Schultz, Kate Smith, Ellerhortz, and London, they all support us in many different ways, dealing with regulatory and so forth. Grants and contracts. These individuals have to be mind readers. They have to figure out what faculty want to do and figure out how to make that happen. Headed up by Beth Brandt, Janet, Anna, Mary, Lynn, thank you, and Pat, sorry. Human and Clinical Research Corps, these individuals are dedicated to helping our investigators do things well and safely. Headed up by Robert Eber, they perform protocol reviews, informed consent, and so forth. So a great deal of effort is going into developing this particular corps. Our research training group, headed by our Starfleet Academy, deals with the training of oral health science PhD students, and they're shown here. Tissue engineering at Michigan is also a major part of who we help, and the postdoctoral and undergraduate people are as well. We have a number of different support programs. In particular, my group focuses on a number of research cores, the micro-CT core, headed up by Michelle, the animals core and molecular biology core, headed up by Tao, histology by Chris Strayhorn and Teresa Cody. We have a number of programs that are helping us lead to success in our grant applications. We have a Research Unplugged program. We support an R01 boot camp. We have internal reviews as well as external reviews for grant success. Research Day is an amazing, or as I will say after last night, a beautiful thing. When it happens and the electrons all align, it is an amazing opportunity for people to share in our community. It's the only time that we get together as a whole school for one single day. We have over 100 presentations and many vendors. So where are we going? We're going to the stars. We have inspired faculty, amazing students, and incredibly dedicated staff. We collaborate, we have a collaborative environment, we have a willingness to invest in ourselves, and finally, we have a culture that values innovation. Thank you.
Okay, there you have it. I just have to confess that I've never watched an entire episode of Star Trek until today. So the Pecha Kucha is one of the things that they also call it is chit chat, or it's been also equated to like a box of candy where you have different flavors, and I think you saw a lot of different flavors here today. Little humor, little seriousness, but I hope you got an impression of the breadth and depth of work that goes on in our unit. With that, I will open up to questions from the audience. Dr. Richards.
Planning for the renovation was spoken about. How
Okay, his question was the planning for the renovation was referred to, and how and when will we see the first communication about it? Do you want to take that?
I'm not sure that I can give you an exact time frame. We are starting on October 4th, right, which is next week, to go through what they call program validation. So that's really working with the new group, Smith Group, on looking at the work that's gone before to make sure that we're ready to move forward with it, or this is the time to make some tweaks and adjustments. So we're going to spend about the next 8 weeks going through that phase, and I think it's then that we will be pulling in everybody to be involved, and really everybody will have an opportunity because we need everybody's input on this.
So it's been estimated that the planning phase will be about 1.5 years before construction begins. Then one of the key things that we will do initially is how best to orchestrate the community involvement as we go through the process. So good question. Who wants to ask the second question? No second questions? What did you think about this format? You like it? So those chairs in the audience, you can start getting your Pecha Kuchas ready for next year. Of course, we're always welcome to entertain Q&A offline. And so without further ado, thank you again for all being here.